Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Chief Petty Officer David Osborne. We are honoured to acknowledge the Naval Association of Australia, ACT section. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We also acknowledge the members of the RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching this ceremony broadcast across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. Please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Thank you. If you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to able seaman Arthur Thomas Robert Ladlow. Arthur Ladlow was born on the 20th of October 1920 in Bendigo, Victoria, to Arthur and Mary Ladlow. When war broke out in 1939, he was working as a labourer on Victorian railways. He was also a member of the Royal Australian Naval Reserve and reported for active duty in June 1940. Ladlow was posted to the HMAS Guringai. This vessel had been a fishing trawler in peacetime, but when war started, she was taken over by the Navy Board and fitted out for minesweeping. In early November 1940, a British ship and an American freighter were lost in quick succession in the Bass Strait to German mine-laying operations. HMAS Guringai was one of the number of minesweepers sent to locate and destroy the minefields. Following that operation, the minesweeper returned to Queenscliff. But a rising storm sent the ship to Portsea, which was a safer harbour. As Guringai passed through the dangerous rip at the mouth of Port Phillip Bay in darkness, she was hit by an outbound merchant vessel, torn almost in halves. A crew on the ship that hit the Guringai reported, "In the short time that it took me to run along the promenade deck to the rail by the bridge, the Guringai had disappeared. There was not a sound but the crash of water. In that short moment in between, some eyewitnesses heard men calling for help but could do little for them. Flotation devices were thrown out into the darkness and lifeboats deployed immediately. But despite a long search, no survivors or bodies were found. The minesweeper had sunk almost immediately, with all hands still on board. Over the following weeks, diving operations recovered bodies of 5 of the crew. The remaining 19, including Arthur Ladlow, were never recovered, and the wreck of the minesweeper was blown up to clear the channel. It was 1 month after Arthur Ladlow's 20th birthday. The names of Ladlow and all of the crew of HMAS Guringai are listed on the Roll of Honour to my left, amongst almost 40,000 veterans who died while serving in the Second World War. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. Now we remember able seaman Arthur Thomas Robert Ladlow, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, in a hope for a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They have no grave but the cruel sea, no flowers lay at their head. A rusting hulk is their tombstone, a vast on the ocean bed. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning we will remember them. Lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub of Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We'd like to thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.